Welcome in once again. It's another edition of Where the 99 Lead. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, and Where the 99 Lead, it's a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville, where we talk all things regarding the University of Pikeville. Athletics, academics, the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine, and we're pleased that you've joined us today, where we will talk about the Division of Mathematics, Natural Sciences, younger students from middle schools throughout the area that will be on campus this summer, and our special guest, Robert Arts, Professor of Education and Physics, Chair of the Division of Mathematics and Natural Sciences at UPike. And Robert, welcome in to Where the 99 Lead.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Talk about your biography and where you come from, how you arrived at the University of Pikeville.
Well, I'm originally from Cincinnati. And back in the day, I transferred around. I went to Ohio University for some of my degrees and then wound up at the University of Kentucky.
Right.
And from there, I had an opportunity to join, at that time, Pikeville College as primarily as an outreach director.
Right.
The university had a Math and Science Resource Center program, and they were looking for someone to run programs for middle school students and do outreach and run out into the community, do programs and science camps, and I thought that was a wonderful opportunity. And hadn't heard from them from a while, and gave me a call and said that they were also interested in me teaching some physics classes for them, and that's
right.
my degree background. So I was like, that sounds wonderful. So I wandered my way to Pikeville and have been on the faculty here for now 20 years.
Wow. Time flies.
Time does fly.
Absolutely. Robert Arts, Chair of the Division of Mathematics and Natural Sciences at the University of Pikeville. What departments are included in math and natural
We have
science?
several program departments as well as support programs. We have majors that are in biology, chemistry, computer science, and mathematics.
Sure.
In addition to those, we have support classes in physics, astronomy, and earth space science type stuff as well. So we have some adjuncts that cover some of that for us.
Right. Biology and chemistry, you mentioned, are some of the popular majors on
Absolutely.
campus. Let's talk about what students can do with those degrees.
Absolutely. Very popular, what we call the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and that's what we cover within our division. This past fall, we had 327 majors declared within those programs. So
Wow.
more than 1/4 of the student undergraduate population at the university is enrolled in one of those fields. Primarily in the biology, chemistry areas, they're very interested in going into the professional programs, primarily your medical type fields, dentistry, of course, osteopathic field, MDs, pharmacy type research, as well as the pharmacy, retail pharmacy fields and such. But in addition to that, we support more than just those professional programs. We appreciate students that are interested in working towards their graduate degrees in those areas, and so we have students that are interested in doing ecological research or field research in biology or chemistry research in drugs and cancer delivery and things of that nature. So we try to support all those kinds of types of programs throughout the year.
Of course, I would imagine an uptick since the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine in those majors because of the med school being here on campus. Now with the added School of Optometry that is on its way, do you anticipate another tick up?
Absolutely. I mean, we see a slight growth in the interest in people, particularly in those professional fields. And with the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine being right here, of course, students see that as a good stepping stone. They get their foot in the door at UPike and are able to work their way forwards through our undergraduate programs, getting prepared to enter that particular area. So certainly with the upcoming announcement from the Kentucky College of Optometry building and the new programs and expanded science and health science offerings, we've got a lot more interest in students, particularly some of our younger students in the freshman and sophomore level that see that as maybe a potential for them down the road, as the school could possibly be open by the time they graduate and are interested there.
Absolutely. And things growing at the University of Pikeville. In your 20 years on campus, what's been the most significant growth that you've seen?
I think just in the diversity of the population. When I first started, there was a non-traditional population. The majority of the students in my classes were older than I was.
Sure.
Now, granted, I was only 25 years old at the time, but still the campus was a lot more non-traditional, a lot more commuter. And what I've seen is that over these years it has grown into a very traditional university type campus. We have a lot more residential students, a lot more on-campus activities, the fraternities, the sororities, the international population of students.
Sure.
Just all of that has really brought together a more traditional homey feel to the campus.
Has it changed the family feel that Pikeville has always seemed to have?
Oh, absolutely not. I think that's even more pronounced than it ever has been, because we still keep the small class sizes. Everybody knows everybody else. We sort of know their personalities and where they've come from and where they want to go, their ambitions. The faculty are still, we're still very small in the undergraduate college, so we all very well know each other, even from other departments. And so it's a very community type organization still.
Absolutely. Big university type setting on a small campus.
Yes.
Absolutely. University of Pikeville. They bring you this program, Where the 99 Lead, joined by Robert Arts, Professor of Education and Physics and Chair of the Division of Mathematics and Natural Sciences at UPike. And Robert, you're the advisor for the Guaranteed Admission Program for the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine. What are some of the requirements to be admitted to the Osteopathic Medical Scholars Program, OMSP, as we'll call it, and what are some of the qualifications and how does it prepare students for med school?
Yes, I've been a part of that program for 4 years now. We're just about to accept we have just accepted our 5th class.
Right.
So we're getting ready to graduate those students that came in the first year of that program.
Sure.
I am their academic advisor. I make sure that they have that consistency in advising throughout their 4 years to move through the sciences. They are interviewed from high school as seniors. They have to have at least a 26 ACT.
Right.
And be either in the top 10% of their class or have a 3.5 GPA out of a 4.0.
Sure.
And then they're interviewed by personnel, both from the admissions and the faculty from the Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine, at which point they are accepted then as an undergraduate student at UPike. From there, I get them for 4 years.
Right.
To sort of tailor them along their way. They do take a few extra classes than our normal pre-medical type field students would take.
Sure.
They're required an extra course in math, so we have them take calculus. We have them take an extra course in biochemistry, the chemistry area,
Right.
and then molecular biology of the cell in our biology area. Each of those, along with the background they would have in chemistry, physics, and biology, prepares them really to get their feet wet into that first year of medical school.
Sure.
Particularly the biochemistry. I've heard that if they can do well in our biochemistry course as in the undergraduate college, they do very well in the biochemistry at the medical school. And that gives them a sense of a little lower stress environment that first year, because if you're at least familiar with the material, you've
Right.
seen it, even though you may not completely understand it at every level, you can certainly not feel so stressed out because there is an overwhelming amount of work that you're unprepared for, surprisingly enough.
Indeed. Guaranteed admission to the Osteopathic Medical School at the University of Pikeville, CICOM, as it would be called. How many students are accepted into that program yearly?
We accept 10 students a year. They have to maintain a 3.4 overall and a 3.4 science GPA, score at least a 24 on the MCAT, and take all of those required courses that we have at the lower level biology, chemistry, physics, as well as the advanced courses that we offer. At which point, if they meet all of those criteria, they have guaranteed walk-in admission. They have in a sense, already been interviewed by CICOM at this point in time,
Right.
Having been admitted to the program. So a further interview is not required at that time.
Right. So the first undergrad graduates from the program coming through now,
Yes.
how many will move on to CICOM?
We have several that are moving on from the original 10. There's a few that withdrew from the program, changed their minds once they got into college and decided the science major wasn't for them.
Right.
Multiple of the students have received several different offers from around the country for different medical schools and have chosen to relocate for those purposes.
Sure.
But there are several in this very first class that have matriculated through and will be entering ChiCom this fall.
10 students accepted annually, and I'm curious how many applications for those 10 spots.
It varies from year to year, surprisingly enough. We try to blanket the community with as many of those as possible, giving them to the schools, the guidance counselors, the principals, the science teachers, and all the local high schools. But it doesn't just extend into Pike and Floyd and Johnson. I mean, we go out into the Appalachian region, throughout, Manchester, Hazard, Knott County. And so we have thousands of applications that we send out, in terms of those types of things. Return, probably in the 10% range, that we'll get back, right, in hopes of, finding the most highly qualified of those candidates. Of the group this year, the vast majority of them are first in their class, have 4.0 GPAs.
Right.
So we're expecting good things from them.
Best of the best, typically.
Certainly so.
Absolutely. You and other science faculty have helped prepare countless students for graduate and professional schools. Where can you find these alumni now? You're 20 years on campus. I would imagine they are widely scattered throughout the country, not just geographically, but also in different fields that they're working on. Where are they now, and where are some of this year's graduates headed?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had ones from, like you said, all over the country. They're scattered. From Texas to Canada at some point in time, as well as overseas, and
yes.
Good percentage of the ones, because I deal a lot with our pre-medical students, are in those medical fields: doctors, pharmacists, dentists, optometrists.
Right.
In fact, my personal dentist was a student of mine at the university back in the day.
How odd is that?
It's a little. I always say he gets his chance to get back at me now.
Uh-huh.
So many of them are in this area still.
Right.
They do enjoy the area, and so they are in a lot of those fields. We do have one of note that went to Frankfurt and worked in the forensics lab at the state police post.
Right.
And so we spread out the fields in terms of the sciences. We have others that have tried startup biotechnology companies to try to take switchgrass and other things like that, and you make biofuels. So we have a lot of our graduates in a lot of different places trying a lot of different things. And so we try to give them the most diverse and prepared background that we can.
Does the University of Pikeville math and science departments, do they achieve that? Certainly sounds as if they do.
I think so. I think we're very successful at placing the students, particularly in the professional programs that they so desire to enter, as well as for graduate work, and just walking out the door and being, knowing how well they can succeed in their field.
Succeed and be competitive with students that come from any college in the country.
Absolutely. I think we have a very quality program that well prepares those students, gives them a very diverse but very good depth background into what they're looking for.
Sure. Robert Art's our guest, Professor of Education and Physics at the University of Pikeville, Chair of the Division of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, and you teach a variety of classes, including astronomy and physics. What would be your favorite class to teach?
I'd probably say, in terms of the ones I do on a more regular basis, the general physics course for the science majors I really enjoy, and even more so the laboratory setting for that.
Sure.
I like getting in, I like tinkering with the equipment, I like building a lot of the equipment that we use in the laboratory, and just seeing how to develop that critical thinking process in the students, from a beginning to an ending point. And so I really enjoy that a lot.
Part of why you came to UPike was then Pikeville College for outreach, but also your major field of study was physics.
Yes.
Never goes away.
Never goes away. I learn something new every day. I enjoy being with the students every day and really showing them that, that I have a passion for what I do and that they should have a passion for what they do.
Hang on. Graduation comes. Students forget everything they've learned and this continuing to learn something new every day.
It is. It's surprising to them, and what I enjoy is getting the calls a year, 5 years, 10 years later and say, I was hard on you back in the day. I didn't appreciate your class. I didn't see why I had to take this,
right.
But now I know. I thank you for the time. I thank you for putting me through those pains because it's helped me grow.
Absolutely. Research and fieldwork play a huge role in science education. What are some of the projects students and faculty have been working on recently?
Most recently, our biology department has had a field site donated to them right outside of Prestonsburg. It's a piece of land that Chairman Dotson had owned. And they've been out working on that site every Saturday from about 8 to 5, not only cleaning up, but creating paths and surveying the different flora and fauna, the animal, wildlife and stuff that's there, collecting samples and really trying to develop something that would be an outdoor classroom.
Right.
And so we've got that going on in biology. We have a lot of hands-on things with our ecology and entomology, so we collect a lot of bugs and plants through our botany department to catalog things that exist in the local area. In chemistry area, we have lots of students doing research with some of our chemistry faculty, looking at drug delivery systems and things like that. We even have a couple of students this summer that are part of what's called the Appalachian College Association's Ledford Scholars Program that will be working with Dr. Park and Dr. Younger over in CHICOM on some research projects that they have going on.
Right.
So we're getting a collaboration between the undergraduate college and the graduate college as well.
Interesting. In our area here in Central Appalachia, I would imagine ecology, botany, biology, there is plenty of different locations that can be used for field work.
Very much so. We've gone out to Fish Trap and Jenny Wiley and taken the kids just out to a variety of home sites, just about anything that you can think around here. The cut-through projects and all have something to offer our students to show them that the work that they're doing in the classroom doesn't have to be all book work and tests and quizzes, that there is this hands-on aspect to it that they should appreciate and enjoy because it is the world around them.
Absolutely. Robert Art's our guest on this edition of Where the 99 Lead. And today we focus on the divisions of mathematics and natural sciences at the University of Pikeville. Robert Art's the chair of that division and professor of education and physics at the University of Pikeville. You've been here on campus for 20 years as a longtime faculty member, as many are. How have you seen the education of science change?
I think what I've seen most prevalently over the years has been the shift from the traditional classroom setting where the teacher stood up there, lectured solely, no interaction, you were given the information, you were told to take notes and leave.
Sure.
To more of a learner-centered type of environment where the students are more involved, whether it's small group work things that go on in the classroom during a lecture time, whether it's peer-to-peer discussion, you ask a question, you have debate in the classroom, smaller group settings like that, more dynamic things in the classroom with technology being utilized more heavily.
Right.
To be able to do more types of animations and show a video clip that you might want to have very off the fly, as opposed to having the old VCR or something, or even a CD to have to queue up. It can be done very digitally, very quickly now. So a lot more demonstration kinds of things, so much more interactive in the classroom environment across the board.
And it will continue to change as technology improves.
I couldn't have imagined 20 years ago what it would look like today, and I don't think I can imagine what it'll look like 20 years from now.
It's almost frightening. Robert Art's our guest on this edition of Where the 99 Lead. Today we talk math and science. And if you've ever been around the University of Pikeville campus in the summer, there are times when middle school students arrive. My children have participated. I'm very familiar. But for 2 weeks every summer, the campus is filled with middle school students. Tell us about the Math and Science Day Camp and some of the activities planned for this year.
Absolutely. The camp program has been running for a little over 20 years. I took over in '95, but it had run a few years before that.
Right.
We do run for 2 weeks. We take 100 students entering the 5th and 6th grades during our week 1 of our camp. We take 100 students entering the 7th and 8th grade for week 2 of our camp.
Right.
The program is very hands-on, very interactive. They do projects in chemistry, physics, biology, computer science, and astronomy. We do a lot of hands-on critical thinking projects with them, and we also involve a field trip. We've been to the Cincinnati Zoo, we've been to the Science Center in Columbus, we've been to Science Center and Bluefield before, just a variety of places, Bays Mountain and Kingsport as well, to the animal park.
Sure.
So a lot of things like that to get them involved in both off campus and out of the county, and just show them again that aspect of hands-on science. We involve as many students as we can and as many volunteers as we can in the program. Like I said, it's been running for a long time. It's a very popular program of the university. And this year, what we have on slate, we're going to be looking at some things in photography in the physics areas, some lab safety and rocketry in the chemistry area, plants and DNA and biology. Astronomy is going to be looking at a little bit about the sun and some of the constellations.
Sure.
And in computer science, we're going to do some programming. So we're going to get them to learn a very simple programming language that they can take back to their home with them even.
Very good. 100 spots each session. How quickly do those fill up?
Pretty quick.
Yeah. Like last year, they filled up for this year?
Sometimes. I'll get calls starting usually in January asking me when applications are available.
Sure.
And once we do open that application pool up, usually within a month's time or less, all 100 of those spots are accounted for a program that won't run until the middle of July.
Right. Absolutely. And as I said, my two older children have both been involved, and it's something they look forward to. As middle school students, those parents that have had students in those ages, sometimes they don't want to talk about the classroom. But once they've been, or they've talked to some of their friends who have been a part of the math and science day camp, they want to be a part of it because it's so engaging and it's not just a typical classroom setting.
That's right. And what we really enjoy trying to do is to provide for those students that do want to keep returning to us. Since we have a 4-year span, the activities are unique for 4 straight years.
Right.
So even if a student came back 5th through 8th grade, they would not see the same set of activities twice. They may go on the same field trip,
right.
But at least the activities in the classroom are different, so they get a unique experience. And beyond that, even once they've reached high school and they're ineligible for the camp, we use high school students as volunteers.
Right.
And in fact, our volunteer pool has grown so large that we can't even accommodate all of the interest anymore.
Very good.
And it's those that have been in the camp in the past that found such a wonderful and rewarding experience that they want to come back and share that with the younger generation.
Right. What changes have you seen in the middle school students in the years that the program, that you've been a part of that?
I think more of that willingness to get in and get their hands dirty, more willingness to know that hands-on is something that they can do. It used to be, like I said, the traditional classroom, the lecture, and very few labs, very few hands-on things. And now they come in with more of that expectation. What are we going to do? And and now they're very excited and they work well together. I've seen more of a group dynamic where they're used to working in groups, they're used to working with others, and we try to promote that very much so and try to get them a lot of hands-on and a lot of teamwork type stuff.
Very good. What are the dates for this year's camps?
This year we're running the entering 5th and 6th grade camp the week of July 7th through the 11th. And the 7th and 8th grade entering camp will be the week of the 14th through the 18th of July.
Very good. Make your plans. Are there spots available now?
Spots are available. The applications are being released shortly. Probably by the end of the week, the applications will be available. Everything's online. All the forms, all the information, everything will be available to them to register fully probably by, like I said, by the end of this week.
You might want to get those in early. upike.edu, and you'll be able to find that at the Math and Science Day Camp. Get your application submitted very quickly for that. You also host younger students for a similar event. That's called the Science Olympics. What is it? Tell us more.
The National Science Olympiad program has been around for 30 years. They're in all but 2 states in the country, and they allow students to compete in hands-on scientific events. It's not just chemistry, biology, physics, it's earth, space science, it's engineering, design, and technology, where they would build bridges or towers and things of that nature. And so teams of 15 students only from a school, either middle school or high school, come to the campus once a year to compete in this.
Right.
We hold it usually the first Saturday in March each year. And actually this coming year it'll be on February 28th, 2015.
Okay.
will be our tournament. They come from all over this Eastern Kentucky region. They compete in 23 separate hands-on events all day long.
Right.
We run from 8 to 3. They're competing in these things against other teams, could be from their own school, could be from their own region. And from there, then, if they receive one of the trophies, or first through fourth place with us, that allows them to move on to the state competition for the Olympiad, which is held in Western Kentucky University each year.
Very good. With middle school students on campus and the Olympiad students from outside in the Eastern Kentucky, we talked about one of the reasons you're here was outreach.
Absolutely.
Originally. This is a great recruiting tool to grab these students who are in middle school and students who want to be in a camp, an academic and educational type camp setting in the summer. Typically will be your better students during the
Yes.
regular school year. But it's a great recruiting tool to have them on campus, expose them to the university. A lot of those students, I would imagine, end up attending the University of Pikeville.
They do, in fact, and I've seen several come through over the years. In fact, as we discussed earlier, we have the Osteopathic Medical Scholars Program.
Sure.
One of our graduates that's about to walk out and be in part of ChiCom was originally one of our math science camp students.
That's got to make you proud.
It makes me very proud, and it makes me feel old as well, but
Sure.
but still very thrilled for them. They come to campus and they see me and they're like, "Oh, you're the science guy." And I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah," and they remember their time very fondly and their time at the university, whether it was eating in the cafeteria with us and seeing faculty and staff and everybody and just being with the college students,
Right.
as much as they enjoyed being in the laboratories and working with our staff.
Absolutely. It's great to see kids, we say kids for lack of a better word, from 5th grade through 8th grade in camp settings and then arrive as undergrads and then move on to ChiCom or professional schools. It's a great amount of pride to see that happen. It's Where the 99 Leads, brought to you by the University of Pikeville. Our guest, Robert Artz, Professor of Education in Physics and Chair of the Division of Math and Natural Sciences at UPike. If someone would like more information about one of the majors that falls in the Math and Science department, or maybe they would like information about Math and Science Day Camp, how could they contact you?
Easiest way to contact me is through email, and that is Robert Artz, RobertArts, all one word,
Right.
at upike.edu.
Very simple. Thanks for being our guest today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Making math and science fun.
Absolutely.
Robert Artz, that's what he does. And of course, the Math and Science Day Camp, something we've talked about today, but get those applications in early if you want to be a part of this year's summer camps. You've been tuned to Where the 99 Lead, a presentation of the University of Pikeville, brought to you by the University of Pikeville, the leading university of Central Appalachia. I'm Andrew Joyce. Thanks for tuning in.